Hello and welcome back to the CCT final, the Champions Chess Tour final. Here we have Magnus Carlsen playing against Ian Nepomniachtchi, and Magnus Carlsen wins the match. Now we'll be taking a look at few games played between Magnus and Ian. This game here we have is played by Magnus with the white pieces. Ian has the black pieces. Magnus goes for e4 and Ian goes for c5. We see a bit of development by the book, and then Ian starts pushing here. The game continues, the queen comes on the board, and Magnus also tries to take out the queen here. So by move 17, Magnus also has his queen out on the board. Magnus starts pushing, trying to attack with the white pieces, but instead he has a better defense here, so Magnus can't really push right now. He has to wait. Now Ian brings his queen here, and Magnus puts his bishop with the idea that he can defend this diagonal and defend the pawn as well. We see a bit of misses by both the players, and now this is a great move by Ian, and the queen takes the free pawn, but now it's falling apart for Magnus because now knight to d4, which is also played by Ian, is giving more control of the center to Ian, because if he takes, he just loses the knight, so he can't actually take the knight here. He just loses the rook if he takes it. And then Magnus moves his king to h1, further making his position worse, because now he is just trying to avoid any checkmates here, but that is actually bad for Magnus, because now with taking this free pawn, you also have this threat here as well, and you have the queen here as well, so you have a very active position to play with. Magnus instead defends his position now and tries pushing the pawn. He sacrifices one of the rooks. He offers a trade, and it's okay, it's balanced. Again, Magnus does a miss, giving chance to Ian to play a better move, which is queen to c4, but queen to h3, sorry, but instead he moves queen to g4. The game still continues. We see Magnus trying to stack up the queen with the rook, the idea that he can attack. He takes with the knight. Now the rook can't take, because then it just loses the rook for no reason. And this is a very strong position to play in, because now Magnus is actually defending every piece in such a way that it's remarkable. I'll show you a video. Look at how they play this game.
Has to move the queen.
Has to move the queen, and okay, there is a capture. It's knight for bishop exchange, but now there's no more attack. The white king looks much safer than it was previously.
But there's so much attack on the clock right now for both these players. So much tension. Yan down to 6 seconds.
Gotta move.
And still a lot of tactics on the board.
He cannot let this turn Yan Nepomniachtchi. It is turning. He's lost control completely now. The white knight is beautifully placed on an outpost.
And the white king perfectly safe behind his own pawns now. And look at the way Magnus has transposed this position, getting the queen centralized in front of the rook, complete control of the d file, blocking of the e file with his own knight.
Yeah.
Complete time scramble.
This could be bad for black. With this queen coming to b7 next, probably still drawn.
2 seconds. Oof.
And Yan desperately trying to hold things together, but now a check.
Beautiful.
Oh, you have to be so careful.
Oh my gosh.
He had to go queen b8, nice.
Oh, now there's an exchange. Is it going to be knight or bishop that triumphs, though?
That knight lands on c6, you end up losing that a7 pawn. Magnus, how's he going to find a way to attack that bishop?
There are pawns on both sides of the board, so bishop might be able to hold its own, but right now, white's a pawn, 2 squares from promotion. That could be disastrous for black. Okay, he's stabilizing, though. He's defending everything, Yan, really well. A draw would be a great result for him at this point. Magnus is applying some pressure. Yan cannot afford to lose.
What an absolute roller coaster of a game this is. The king comes back to defend that pawn. This endgame is not over. It could go any way. Both players have managed to get some time on the clock. But maybe Magnus needs to be a little careful, because the black king might slowly march over to the left side of the board and pick up that a6 pawn.
Quickly march over.
Oh.
King is coming. It's going to be a race.
Oh!
Oh my gosh.
Big take. Uh-oh. He has to try to bail out.
Yan was actually winning if he hadn't pushed his h-pawn, kept more pawns on the board, but now not enough pawns left. The pieces will give each other up for the remaining pawns, and we'll soon see a handshake. This one's going to end with king versus king.
Yeah. And the white knight finds itself on the right spot. A3 is the square where you need it to jump around and stop that black pawn from promoting.
And Magnus now just needs to bring his knight back or his king across. A flashy way of banking the draw.
Whoa. And a sigh of relief there. What a game.
So you saw how they play it. They're low on time. They're coming up with the best moves here. And they're missing out some moves as well because they're actually low on time. The game continues. We see them trying to safeguard the pieces. We see a trade. Then finally, we see the queens coming off the board. And now we're heading towards promotion. But then, because there's a lot of time scramble here, both are running low on time, so Magnus actually has to defend, and Magnus goes for a draw in a style. He takes on all the pieces here, and then finally he sacrifices the knight with the idea that he can now take the free pawn here, and the game ends with a draw. This is the last match played by Magnus, where Magnus wins here, and we see a French opening here. We see the game going for first Horde's defense, but then eventually it goes into French. The game continues here by move 10. We have a better structure for both the players to play with. They have their bishops out. Only Magnus has his bishop out, and he has a better position to play with. Magnus is developing his pieces. Ian actually castles right now, but instead the engine suggests that he could have moved the pieces and developed a bit that would allow, such as moving the queen apart and moving this pawn here to open the bishop over here, and the idea that he can attack this diagonal because his bishop is blocked, or maybe moving the knight somewhere because this pawn is here, so he could have moved the pawn take, or take with this, so that you have this open diagonal as well. By move 13, we see Magnus with a great move, with the idea that he's going to take here, open the center, and ruin this defense for black. Now he moves the queen here with the idea that he can take the queen. Instead, Magnus moves the queen, and then we see a few more moves here. White is trying to attack this position by putting all the pieces here, putting pressure, and the king is also safe, so he has no worries about the king as well. We see this move over here, which is an inaccuracy because this actually gives out a free knight to Magnus, and Magnus just takes the free knight. This is just a blunder by Ian. Ian then tries to safeguard his position, but now it's really far apart for Ian to actually take it, because now what a great move by Magnus. He puts his queen to h6 with the idea that now the pawn can't take the queen because the pawn is pinned to the knight because there's a rook on g3. Now he moves this bishop here with the idea that whenever he goes here, or maybe brings this piece over here, so he can't take it because then the queen gets off the board. So Ian tries to defend himself here, but then eventually he knows that he's gonna lose this position when the queen goes to g6. Now he's gonna sack the queen and win the game. And so Ian resigns the game here, and Magnus Carlsen wins the 2024 Champions Chess Tour. And this was the video. I hope you liked it. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below. I'll see you in the next video. Till that, take care. Goodbye.